Dzogchen Today podcast.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this new mini-series of the podcast Dzogchen in Everyday Life, where we explore themes of loss of meaning, discernment, and connection. In this second episode, we'll be focusing more specifically on the loss of discernment. And to discuss this, I'm very pleased to welcome Mila Rinpoche.
Hello, glad to be here.
Nice to have you here. And Grégoire Langouet. Hello.
Hello, thanks for having me again.
Yes, I'm glad to have you back in this second episode. So, Mila Khyentse Rinpoche, you are still a trained scholar, consultant, and teacher of Dzogchen. You have been traditionally trained in the Himalayas and in Europe, and you are a lineage holder. And you are also the initiator of the Dzogchen Today project. And Grégoire Langouet, you are a doctoral student at the Catholic University of Louvain, studying philosophy and religious studies. You are also the publisher and co-director of Vue de l'Esprit and a translator of Tibetan. And you're an active member of the Dzogchen Today committee, translation committee.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So in the previous episode, we've discussed the loss of sense, loss of meaning, and we've started to see a little bit what discernment maybe play as a role. So today we're going to focus on discernment itself, this ability to distinguish between true and false, good and bad, and real and illusory, and an ability that seems to be eroding in a world saturated with information, distractions, fake news, fake news, and also multiple points of views. So to begin with you, Grégoire, to set the scene, could you explain?
This is fake news.
Yeah,
Not an easy task.
Could you explain what we mean by discernment in our Western culture? And why do we sometimes feel that it's weakening?
Big question once again.
Yes, last question.
If it's weakening now, I'm not sure. I cannot reply on that. Maybe we have to ask so many people, millions of people, and compare past and present. I don't know.
But we can maybe presume a little bit.
Maybe. But before going back to that, maybe just to give a few words about what does discernment or judgment or what can it mean? It's simply, as you've said, like to distinguish, to separate, to make a distinction between different things. Basically, you can say between two things, between good and bad, up and down. And
green and blue.
Green and blue. Okay, so it's just to work with your mind in a way, with your consciousness, with the conscious aspect of the mind, the conceptual aspect of the mind.
The mental aspect.
You can say that, yeah. And so you can train it in many different ways. If you do mathematics, for instance, you do that a lot. But if you do philosophy also. But if you do, I don't know, even to cook, even for bakery, or if you repair a car, you have to distinguish between things. And that's something you need to train. To learn slowly, step by step, and to train again and again. It's not something that comes...
innate.
Exactly. Maybe we are not completely equal on that, but that's another topic. And I think to distinguish thing is something that can help giving meaning in our life, finding back meaning. That was the topic of the previous episode. And so the distinguishing between things, it's also something that has been very much valued in the modern world with the critic and criticism. That's with a positive or negative value, but just to make krinein, with the Greek word would say, like to distinguish between things, has been very much valued in the modern world. And today, I don't know if it's fading away or if it's less than before, but maybe it's related to the huge amount of information we are surrounded by. Saturated by information. So sometimes it's very difficult to stay clear and to distinguish between what's good for me, what's not good for me, what's meaningful for me, what's not. And you can start with that very basically, even with the body. Is it good like to drink that water or to drink a beer or to drink, I don't know, anything? We're not even sure about what's good for ourselves anymore because we are very much lost in our mind in the sense of the mental projection. So we cover the whole reality, the more immediate, natural aspect of reality, by many, many concepts. And it becomes very complex. And sometimes even for ourselves, we are not clear anymore what we need,
for
what
basic
we want,
things.
what's good and not. And so, I think that's something we can start saying about the discernment. And then after the body, it can be with the emotion, with the psychological aspect. Am I happy? Am I sad today? Why? And it's the whole way through, the mental projection. And then it can be very, very thin, very, very precise. And most of the time, we are not used to observe what's happening in ourselves, meaning in the space of reality, of the space of our mind. And that's something the spiritual tradition will help us to learn and to step by step train into that. And so we can use our own personal judgment, but we can also receive teaching and we can study for that. There are a few elements maybe to start with. I stop here.
And it's interesting as well because usually in the contemporary world, if you just study the vocabulary, just the word, we often replace discerning by judging, which is oftenly, said that it's almost the same. But discerning, there is an action in doing so. It means that I have to reflect. I have to think. I have to apply my discerning wisdom to things. But judging is more direct, is more immediate. Discerning is I want to know what these are really. Judging is more reactional. Even if we say there is the judgment is a discernment. But in this way, it's a bit different. And this is...
sense of effort.
Yeah, a sense of clarification, a sense of a dynamic thing instead of, non-dynamic thing in the way that, I will judge that this thing is better than the other, or this thing is real and this thing is not. I am not studying the things. I am just judging that this is and that is. And that's it. And this is why also it's interesting because in terms of, public definition, wide definition of the reality, it's sliding slowly from discerning to judging. And, there is a lot of things going on nowadays which are more judgment than discernment.
And we could say more emotional than rational somehow. It's colliding a little bit in terms of reaction.
Yeah, but discernment is also, a part of it is also emotional. No, I should say it's more reactional than...
real active.
Yeah. A real dynamic process. Reactional is something that you just do it on the spot and that's it. Without any reflection. And so in this question of discerning things versus judging things, time is crucial. Yes. The time you take to know things is really crucial compared to the thing you just, on the spot, you just react. That is not true. This is real, etc., etc.
So you have to take time to train, to study, to train, and to test. And this, of course, you cannot do it like on the spot. You need to take time for that. Otherwise, only a reaction.
And to slow down as well.
Can be more spontaneous. But if you have trained yourself before, then it becomes more natural and spontaneous.
Okay, so is it the same for the Dzogchen tradition, this term of discernment? Does it have the same meaning in the Dzogchen tradition, or is it...
The discernment in this tradition, as well as in the Buddhist tradition, is twofold. First of all, you have to discern in in a preliminary way to discern what is good for you and what is not good for you. Good means, will this help me to reach the main goal of these traditions is to reach my real nature, to reach my primordial nature beyond everything else, as we talk about that actually in the last podcast. But this is the first step of the discernment. And then the second step of the discernment is that I know for sure that everything I think of, everything I feel, etc., is illusory in itself if I think they are real. So what is, and we talk about that also before, if I think my experience is real, or the way I see my experience is real, then I am not discerning things anymore. I am just basing my experience onto the thing I think. So the way I can discern thing in this second step is a way that, okay, this is an illusory aspect because it's a dual aspect. I think the reality. And then there is a primordial way to the discernment of the reality, which is called clarity in the Dzogchen tradition, where I am not discerning things between subjects that is projecting the reality and the reality itself, but the reality in a whole, in a whole experience.
Yes, the whole experience.
And I am just sticking to this reality without any judgment or without any discerning thoughts, etc. So
it's beyond.
In these traditions, discerning is a first step to discover that everything is not the reality of discernment. And going beyond that is clarity, which is, in fact, the real aspect of discernment. And this is the way, actually, Buddhism and Dzogchen work, and this is what we call a path of discernment to reach the natural state of discernment, which is clarity. It's not the goal, it's just a part of the goal.
Yes, it's the gradual path.
It's a gradual, and clarity is just a part of primordial nature. It's just a quality of primordial nature. It's not the primordial nature.
So Grégoire, maybe as a practicant, practitioner. Sorry,
Do I?
As a practitioner.
Are you? I don't know. You say so.
Yes, I'm sure you are. Can you tell us how this capacity for discernment
I have not a very good discernment capacity.
Deepens your relationship
It's okay.
to you, to the world, to your life?
Yeah, another simple question. Thank you.
Nice, not a simple question. And maybe how does it help clarify as well your place in the world and guide your actions in the world?
If I forgot the second part, just come back to it. But first of all, I'm not a real practitioner. I'm not a good. I'm just trying, and I think I have small capacities, but I do what I can.
In the Dzogchen tradition, we say no one is a real practitioner.
That's good news.
Maybe I can just give a few examples that are simple. Maybe it can happen to other people at the beginning of the path or another level of the path. But something that was for me striking, but at the same time very simple, was when I started with Dzogchen Buddhism, like in the way how Tibetan people presented it when they came to the West. And I came to some what we call Dharma centers, center where we study and try to practice Buddhism. And after some, it was pretty quick after some months. I don't remember exactly. I could notice that even the perception through sense, like the physical senses, was becoming clearer. And one very not silly but simple example was with food, for instance. We eat every day, multiple times every day. But actually, at some point, I was trying just to look at what I was eating, just and noticing like the texture of it, and say, wow, actually, I've never really paid attention to what I put it in my body for like more than 20 years. What happened to me? And you start paying attention to that. And the same with the taste. And actually, clarity at that moment is not only a word, because it's literal. It's literally just clearer.
Clear.
Yeah.
It's not like a revelation or I don't know what. It's just literally much more clearer.
It's a direct experience.
Yeah. Maybe like you realize that you put a big veil between what you perceive and the perceiver, like the aspect of the mind that is perceiving your experience.
And it blurs.
Exactly. And the same with people. Actually, it can be how you perceive other people. Most of the time, I was in my mind. I was judging badly people. I was very, very critical toward many people. And actually, I was just putting them in boxes with labels. This is good, this is bad, this person I like, this person I doesn't like. And so you're not really in touch with them. You're not really in contact. It's not at all direct. It's
You don't do
only
the experience
through-
of the relation.
Yeah, it's only through your mental interpretation that you're in contact with people. And so once again, when I was in these Dharma centers in Belgium, I noticed how much I was judging people when I entered the room. Like it's instantaneous. This person, this person, this I don't like, irritating, a lot of emotion. And with a little bit of training, even through 2-3 hours of practice and study, I was noticing at the end how I was perceiving, if I compared it with how I perceived it at the beginning. And again, it was not like a big revelation, but I could notice that even the heart, like the way how you open your heart to the other one, to the other person, you're just in touch with some aspect of reality. You call it a human being, but that's something that is way closer to yourself, to your heart, to your mind. And it's way less an interpretation of what you think of this person is or can be. And that changed everything. Because you're not putting people into positive or negative aspects. You're just more natural
present.
with them. Again, it's a whole process. It takes a lot of time and you can refine that. It's not, again, a big change. But actually it is also. Because with this little experience, it gives you a lot of courage, a lot of energy to continue. Because actually you've discovered something that was completely absent of your experience before. You say, wow, if this can happen that easily in a way, what can it be after maybe years and decades of practice? So you have the courage to continue. Yeah. I don't know if it answered your question. And
Yes,
the
it
second
does.
part
Yes.
was the action, but I don't want to talk too much.
Maybe Rinpoche, if you have something to say about that. I don't know.
If your mind is clear, is what you say, then your actions are clearer.
Exactly.
And, it's as simple as that. And nothing else to be added, for sure.
And you can notice it in your work. You're more efficient, how you relate to other people. Okay, it's not like it's perfect now, not at all, but it's better than before. And you do things that you did not dare to do before. Because you're more just spontaneous, more natural. You go for it.
You
That's
don't
it.
spend time in the storytelling that
A little
prevent
bit.
you to...
A little bit less.
And your experience is lighter as well. It's simpler, so
Yeah.
it's lighter.
Because if you break your head before
There's more
doing
space.
Yeah.
anything, you will not do anything. I'm a guy who is really into his mind.
For sure.
I know that's a problem. I do what I can. But before that, it was way worse. So you can imagine.
No.
Like, I didn't dare to meet some people, to do something. And then you gain confidence because you're more in touch with how you perceive reality. So you say, okay, actually, that's just that. So let's go for it and just try it.
So it allows this connection, because we're going to talk about connection in the next podcast. But
wow.
it's like a kind of opening and to be really in contact, real contact. I mean, to be in in relation or connection. And
Like with you now.
exactly. Okay. Rinpoche, we are concluding this podcast, but would you have maybe an advice to share for
Discerning things.
to help to cultivate this discernment in our daily life?
We have to take time.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take time. We have to learn. We have to experience things by ourselves. We have to make sure that what we experience, we catch it surely, fully, deeply. So we need to study. We need to, but it's not just about the texts or philosophical texts and so on. No, we have to study our environment. We have to study our reactions between us and our environment. In fact, discernment in these traditions means that you have to know yourself. You know, it's the big thing everybody says. You have to know yourself, like, you know, in the coaching area. But it's not you have to know yourself in what you want. It's you have to know yourself in your process, how you live, how everything is working in your body, in your mind, in the interoception process between your body and mind. You have to clearly define what you really are, not in terms of identity only, but in the way you work, in the way you function.
Mechanism.
Just how you think, how you react, how you act, and so on and so on. And then taking this time, you regain the ability to discern really what you want at your core, in the base of your existence. And this is actually the most important, because if you're engaged, for example, in a spiritual path, if you don't know what you want in this existence, in your existence now, you won't never reach that is beyond this existence. So the first step is discerning what you really are and what you really want in this life. And then after this first wisdom, you can go deeper, and you can try to dig more and more and more and more to reach what we call in these traditions the primordial wisdom, the primordial knowledge, which is beyond everything you defined before. But you need to define clearly the first step to reach the second step, which is beyond everything. And this is the path, proposed by these traditions.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rinpoche. Thank you, Grégoire.
Thank you.
And we'll still be together for the next episode.
Seems so.
Yes.
Well,
That we will discuss the loss of connection.
Okay.
Actually.
connection.
So stay with us for the next episode. Thank
connected.
you. Stay connected. Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You can find more episodes on your website dzogchentoday.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review us on your favorite podcast app and share it with your friends. We will be pleased to receive your feedbacks on podcast@dzogchentoday.org.